Timothy Coughlin was the senior managing director of Cantor Fitzgerald Securities, the husband of Maura Coughlin, and the father of Ryan, Sean, and Riley. On September 11th, 2001, he left his home early, like he did every morning, to go to the gym just before heading to work.
Timmy woke up every morning very early to go to the gym, usually around 5 o'clock, and was at the gym by 5:30 at the Downtown Athletic Club. He left that Tuesday morning just like it was any other morning. And again, I had 3 young kids, so I never really heard him leave. And that particular morning, I happened to pop up in my bed and called his name, and he turned around in the doorway. And I just said, "I love you." And he said, "I love you too." And went to work. He called to ask me if I was watching the news, that something had happened to his building. Whether or not he knew what it was, he did not tell me. He told me he did not know what it was. And he mentioned that he was leaving his office and he would call me when he got downstairs. And I am forever grateful that I had that time to talk to him on the phone. And, unfortunately, we didn't hear from him.
I was across the street at the World Financial Center, which is across 1 block away, and there was a loud sound, vibration. Somebody came onto the trading floor and said something has happened across the street. We didn't have any idea.
The first thing about that day that you remember is just, oh my gosh, man, I hope everybody that I know is okay. And then the magnitude of it, just being such a different situation than maybe anything that any of us had ever faced in our lives to that point.
Timmy was honestly energetic, life of the party, loyal. He was everything that you could really ask for in a man. He was an amazing husband, and he was a great dad for the 5 years that he was a father. So there's nothing negative really to say at all. He was just one of a kind.
Timmy was incredibly loyal, certainly as a brother, as a friend. I think that's been a big focus of how people have remembered him, that he was somebody that was always there. He would listen to you. He would treat people properly, and that's why he had an absolute army of friends. And that's why St. Patrick's Cathedral was basically sold out.
We're a big Irish family, and the clover is a huge symbol, throughout our family and throughout his friends and our family friends. And I have a shamrock tattoo on my back with his initials, and so does my brother, and my mom and my sister have one as well.
And he told me it was for his dad who died in 9/11, and I was completely taken back. And obviously, when we went as a team to the 9/11 memorial and then the museum, and kind of going through that thing and seeing things about his dad, and just that whole thing, it was an unbelievable experience, and I'll never forget that.
Someone told me that when you were with Timmy, you needed to bring your A game, because if he thought that you were powering down, if he thought that you weren't bringing your A game to whatever it is that was being done, he would be annoyed by that. And you'd get a little bit of a curled tongue. And that's another of the legacies that we have. Don't bring your mediocre game to what you're doing, bring your A game.
I think that it's hard because as I get older, it becomes difficult to remember certain things. But I'll just never forget the way that he cared so much for the 3 of us and my mom. And I remember dressing up as Dorothy and the Tin Man for Halloween. And I think it's everyone's favorite picture. He was amazing. And we, like I said before, we really, really, really do talk about him every day. So it's not hard to remember all the good things. So
a lot of people look past the simple jobs and people that do stuff behind the scenes, but not my father in a sense. And I've tried to take that in perspective on life and kind of grow off of that, and never take anybody for granted and never look past anybody because you think you're higher up than them. And I really, really respect that and love that about what people tell me about that.
What are 3 words you would use to describe Sean Coughlin?
I can do it in one.
That's a funny one. Walking into Millis, I think 3 years ago, seeing that kid, it was funny. That's a little short, kind of chubby Long Island kid who now has turned into one of my best friends eventually. But my first impression of him was he was definitely different than kids that I'd grown up with, just being from 2 completely different parts of the country, Colorado and Long Island. So it was good. But his first impression was he was very, very loud and outspoken.
So actually, Sean's from Garden City, which is the same area that my dad grew up. So we kind of had that connection to start. And we were actually at Carolina's the other day too, right at the booth, which is where he met me on our official visit when we were here. And right from that point, I knew he was a kid that I want to be friends with. And from that point on, we really clicked.
We started talking, started Snapchatting, and he seemed like a guy that I would immediately be friends with. And as soon as we got on campus, he was one of my immediate best friends. First night we were here, we were just hanging out, talking, laughing like the whole time. And then actually that night, me and him slept over at Zach Toole's house. He was a senior at the time, and from there on out, we've just always been close since then.
And coming in as a freshman, I didn't know a whole lot of people. So the first night, in my room by myself, hanging out, trying to figure out what I was going to do for the night, he comes barging in, starts yelling at me. I'm like, who is this kid? Like, it's the first night. Why am I catching heat from this kid? Right away, he won me over with his charismatic personality and just wanting to get me out of my comfort zone. And that's exactly what I needed.
You always are affecting the lives of 18 to 22-year-olds. So you learn how to like who's special and who's not. And in all my years, like Sean is definitely one of those guys that right away you knew there was something special about him.
Again, he embodies everything we look for and everything we try to instill in our guys. And he does it with this incredibly humble demeanor. He's selfless. I can tell you beyond the guys on the team, he's made an impact on my life. He's made an impact on the life of the guys on the staff. And, you get to know his family. You get to know his sister, his brothers, his mom and dad. They're about, as good of a group of people as you could ever want associated with your program.
Tim was a great athlete. Some of Tim's highlights in lacrosse came as a 2-way midfielder for the St. Mary's Gales when he was in high school. Sean grew up loving the game of lacrosse, just like his father. He had a dream of being a college athlete, just like his father. Sean's dream was to play college lacrosse.
I'd probably say my senior year, right around September, October, I sat down with my parents and kind of gave it all up. I gave up, playing lacrosse in college, and did it hurt me? Yeah. But I thought it was time to move on, but, my parents didn't.
I said to him, we are going down there on Friday, and you will take part in the prospect night, which was Friday night, and then you will go on Saturday morning, and then we'll come home Saturday afternoon, and you can, meet up with your soccer team, whatever. And I don't want to say he went kicking and screaming, because he did not, but he was very disheartened at this point. And we went down, and he had an amazing time at the prospect day.
Usually coaches kind of sit back and watch during prospect days, and he immediately started teaching me and telling me what to do. And, I'd met the man for 15 minutes, and, I felt like it was his way or the highway, and I wasn't even committed here yet. I was just playing in a prospect day, and he had no idea who I was. I had no idea who he was, but we completely just had that bond immediately. And I took it upon myself to kind of work hard during that prospect day, and I got a shot.
Sean came down, was incredibly impressive, did all the little things. Was more, I would say, of an off-ball guy. He was constantly moving, constantly finding space. And I remember, talking to my staff at the time. It was Ron Garling and Pat Tracy, and we all just kind of looked at each other and said, this kid is fantastic. I mean, he does all the little things that, a lot of the times in the recruiting process, get looked over. And it was immediate for us right after that I think I called Steve Fennell and then got Sean on the phone, and we offered him an opportunity. And again, it's one of the best decisions we've made as a staff.
It was really like it was meant to be. I mean, the relationship between him and Torby is great, and we really, really feel that because he went to that prospect day, he ended up exactly where he was supposed to be.
It is my favorite thing to watch Sean play lacrosse. I was an avid lacrosse fan. It's Sean's favorite hobby. It's Sean's. He might like lacrosse better than us sometimes. I'm not really sure. It makes him so happy, and seeing him that happy when he's with his team, when he's on the field, makes me so happy.
Well, when Sean plays, it's my favorite time of year because it feels like everyone on the team's like pretty much part of our family for like 3 or 4 months, however long the season is, and going to the game most weekends is the best part of my week. So
I give him a lot of credit for our success sophomore year, and I give him a lot of credit for how we were trying to turn it around last year. He's worked his butt off to be the best version of himself and be that best guy, and he's just an unbelievable off-ball guy. So yeah, no, love throwing it to 50.
Feeding in front, Coughlin the goal.
I'm super impressed with that Sean has as a leader is his ability to go out and get people such as the young guys out of their comfort zone and into the best position they can possibly be in.
Just his work ethic. He leads by example on and off the field. Whenever there's a problem, he's always the first one there to make sure everyone's all right.
Leadership comes from, I believe it comes from within. If you have people within your family that are leading, it trickles down. And Ryan has been a tremendous leader, being the oldest sibling in our family. And Sean has learned that from her. That's definitely rolled over to the team and to his friends. And, you know, just about everybody that loves Sean loves him for the reasons why we love Timmy. He made us better. Timmy made us better. Sean is making his friends better.
Over the past 4 years, I care about every single person that has walked in this locker room. And it's not just caring in the sense that, oh, you're on the same team. No, I care what's going on in your personal life. You know, I care like your problems off the field if you have any, or I care about your successes off the field, honestly, because, you know, lacrosse can last for 4 years only. And, you know, there's a lot of bigger things in life than just lacrosse. And, you know, if you're showing me hard work, you're showing me passion in the classroom, on the field, you know, on the track, you know, on the grass, like constant running, and, you know, you have a smile on your face, you can guarantee that, you know, I'm going to have a smile on my face if I see you working hard and you're enjoying your time here. I want to be a leader on this team because I care about every single person here. You know, I care about work ethic. I want to put in the work because I know it's going to bring me somewhere. You know, I'm going to give everything I have for every single person that's standing right and left of me because, you know, I care. I'm not doing it for me personally. I do it for, you know, the team and the overall goal.
I think because he treats everyone with respect. You know, he's an unbelievable family, and he's just, you could tell he was raised the right way. And like I said, with, you know, pointing out, you know, everything you give him, he's just so appreciative for it. He never, you know, it's never about him. It's always about everyone else. And it shows, and right away you gravitate to people like that.
I know after he gave his speech when we voted for captains, it was a no-brainer that, you know, pretty much everyone on the team was not shocked that this is a guy, you know, we want to be behind and can definitely lead us to good places.
Sean being a junior captain really speaks for itself because I knew a lot of the guys in the senior class when he was a junior who were all capable and would have been great captains if Sean wasn't picked as a junior captain. I think for him, for his teammates to pick him and the coaches to pick him was a really big deal.
When he kind of got word that he was even going to be considered for the position, he was like, I think I'm going to get captain, Ryan. And I was like, okay, big shot. And I knew he could do it, but it's really difficult to get it as a junior. And when he got it, he didn't brag about it. He was like, I'm truly honored to be leading this team. The team is his life. It's his whole life, besides his family and his friends. And I think that it was truly an honor for him to be picked as the leader of the team.
If Timmy wasn't such a good friend of mine, I'm not sure I could have pulled this off. You know, his name comes up every day. He was such a tremendous presence, still is such a presence in our household. And, you know, all who loved him and knew him well.
Billy, my pops, he's one of the more resilient and toughest men I've ever met too. You know, to jump into a family of 3 with, you know, being surrounded by so many friends and family who loved, you know, my father Timothy so much, you know, there's a lot of pressure on him.
I mean, I would honestly say they're my second family ever since freshman year. I mean, more Billy, Kevin, Ryan, all of them. I mean, Ryan's like my sister, so it's just all that stuff is like, I'm just super close to them, and owe them a lot of credit to my success here. When freshman year, it's tough. You're away from your family, and then they come down and see us, and it's great to see them, and they take us out to dinner and that stuff. It's just, can't replace those memories. I mean, I love them like they're my own, and I would do anything for them, and I know they do the same for me.
She's the toughest lady I've ever met. And, you know, I don't really get to talk about her a lot, or, you know, I tell her I love her so much, but I don't think it's enough any day. You know, I'm sorry for losing my cool here, but, you know, my mom is the most loving, caring, and, you know, strongest person I've ever met in my entire life. And that's not only for my family, that is for anybody that comes her way and, you know, shows her respect, shows my family respect. She's going to be there for you. And I see it with my friends. I see it with her friends. And I see it like all around. She's the most loving and most unselfish person I've ever met in my entire life. And I will do anything in my power to be like that and have that mindset that she has.
Family means no one gets left behind, and where memories are held onto. What are 3 words the Coughlin family would use to describe Timothy Coughlin?
The words, I mean, the word loyalty, which they mentioned, and I think Frank just covered the idea that, I mean, he was a very funny guy.
You know, as a husband and as a father, he was extremely loyal. I mean, I think loyal is an adjective that describes Timmy perfectly. The way he was with his family, the way he was with his friends.
Passionate is a word that comes to mind for me.
One word I would use to describe him is charismatic and a charmer. And everyone that you talk to speaks so highly of him, and it's something that I truly am honored that I got a chance to even be in his life for 4 years. So, yeah.
We'll never forget, and that is his sense of humor. He loved to laugh and enjoyed the camaraderie of friends and family.
From everything I've heard from like family and friends about him is he was an extremely like driven and motivated person, and like no matter what it was, like athletically or work or family wise, he gave 100% effort.
The bond in a locker room is undeniable and creates a lasting brotherhood. What are 3 words coaches and teammates would use to describe Sean Coughlin?
Loyal. Definitely loyal.
Definitely loyal. He's one of the most loyal friends that I've ever had.
That's tough. I want to say passionate. The kid's passionate about whatever he does.
Charismatic, like I said before. He's brings the best out of people, and is always looking to have a good time on the field, off the field, whatever we're doing.
I would say confident too. Just the way he carries himself around. You know, great guy to be around.
I can do it in one. He's amazing. He embodies everything we look for in a recruit. He embodies everything we, try to instill in our guys on the field and off the field.
Hardworking, dedicated, and humble.
Determined and hardworking.
Just diligent and hardworking. That kid can put his mind to something, and when he does, it's pretty scary to see what he can do.
Hardworking. He's definitely one of the most hardworking kids on our team.
Personable, driven.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'd probably say tenacious, family oriented and friends oriented in the same way. And, powerful, powerful in the sense of, I've heard stories about him. I've heard what he was about, what he did for people, what he did for other people. I wake up every morning and, I try to stay as humble as possible. I'm no better than the person next to me. As long as I work harder than them, or they're working harder than me, then they're better than me. And you got to show respect to everybody, and that's what I kind of learned from him.
I can tell he's a lot like his dad, and from what I've talked to his mom about and stuff like that, he's a lot like him, and it's awesome to see that he's kind of grown into the person that he is now. And I think as much as his dad, unfortunately his dad wasn't there, couldn't be there, it kind of makes me emotional, but it is cool to see how he's turned into the person he is now.
Very early on, one of the memories, whether it's because I keep it alive in Sean or whether he remembers it or not, He used to have lacrosse catches with Timmy when he was 2 years old, and I think that's where he developed his love for this game. And honestly, I think throughout his life, it's been a constant connection with his father. I think he often feels how proud Timmy would be of Sean.
I mean, we celebrate our guys getting opportunities with internships and jobs as much as we do, getting a win after a game. And, for him to have an opportunity where he got a job offer, in August before his senior year in college speaks volumes to the kind of impact he had, especially with, the fact that a lot of the stuff he was doing wasn't even in person. In order for you to get a job, you're going to have to work twice as hard as some of these other guys do. And Cogs did it. And there was a group of guys ahead of him that had to do the same thing, that became mentors to him, that said, if you want to do what you want to do in the city, you're going to have to work extra hard and twice as hard as some of these other guys. And it's the same thing as on the field. If we want to compete against the best teams in the country, we got to do it, at a much greater rate. We got to do things at a much higher level, and we need to be a lot more consistent.
Honestly, his growth at High Point, largely due to the sport and his love and passion for it, has been a huge part of him, and I think a huge part of his success in life. I've always said that lacrosse walks hand in hand with Sean. He's definitely the person he is because of that sport largely.
The determination that he has for his work and for his family really tied into this internship. There were times, obviously, that he got discouraged, and even then he was like, it's fine because I'm going to keep doing it because this is what I want. And talking to him about it was just, he puts 100% effort into everything that he does, and especially through this internship. He wanted it so bad, and he got it.
Well, he had to really change his whole mindset, and there's no doubt, watching him day in and day out, he was on that computer from 6:30 in the morning until the hours, the hours at night, the early hours of the evening. So he had to change his way because he wasn't able to really meet people in person. But obviously, he was able to do the homework, do the research, and sell himself based on what he was learning, which was amazing. It was amazing to watch his dedication, and we were really proud of him.
And a lot of the stories I hear about my father is, the Wall Street. Wall Street. That's where, Timmy Coughlin came alive, and it wasn't the fact that he was a one-man show out there. Like, he brought everybody along with him, and he loved what he did, and he had passion in what he did, and that's all I could ask for. Even going into a firm like Morgan Stanley, who, their cultures and their values, what I learned over the summer is ridiculous. They're awesome. They're all about, like, team-oriented. Everybody's going for one goal.
Sean took the dedication and discipline that he put into lacrosse, and he put it towards his career. After completing an internship with Morgan Stanley in New York City this past summer, he was offered and accepted a job as an incoming analyst with Morgan Stanley. Sean will be working in finance in New York City, just like his father.
Entering the field similar to my father's, and it's crazy to say, 21 years old now, you're getting old, and you're about to face reality, in a sense, like the hard reality of the real world. Especially sitting in the locker room right here, playing college lacrosse, it's just going to be a whole different world, and I got to be ready and I got to be prepared. And I'm pretty sure that's what he was, and that's what he wanted to do. He was hungry, and I am hungry in the sense too. I want to learn, I want to grow. I don't ever want to stop growing and bettering myself.